We are live. Hello, hello, everyone. Welcome to today's LinkedIn Live. I'm Ashley Bernardi, the CEO of Nardi Media. I'm so excited to be here today because we have such a special guest who has been integral to shaping Nardi Media's systems and processes so we can actually run like a big girl company. So I am so excited to introduce my friend, our COO, Shannon Whiteside, who's been with us for a couple years now. And she's going to talk all about systems, processes, and why they're so important for your business and offer some tips. So Shannon, welcome to the LinkedIn Live today.
Thank you. Thanks for having me. And I'm excited to talk about this nerdy stuff.
Oh my gosh. So me too. Before you came on to our team, I never went to school for business. So I just don't know what I don't know. There was a lot of learning on the fly. But what I have learned from you is the importance of having SOPs, which
Yep.
are standard operating procedures and processes in place. So
Yep.
before we get into that, I want to back up because I want you to share a little bit about your own journey and how you got to be this brilliant mind in terms of systems, processes, and setting up businesses to run for success.
So I have been a business owner for my entire adult life. Did the same thing as you, kind of stopped and started, made mistakes along the way, and then found systems and operations. So I owned a co-working space for 5 years. And small business owners would come to me like, hey, this is not working. Hey, that's not working. And we'd sit together and figure out how to make it work. And in doing that, I kind of fell in love with systems because it takes when you're running into a problem, we are really apt to blame a person.
Yeah.
And when you bring in systems, it's the system's fault. Where did the system break down and how do we fix that? And so in my journey, I ended up selling that business. I worked for a couple of other businesses doing their operations. I actually, in 2021, sold everything I owned and took off cross country for a year. And part of that was planning. I had to plan the entire thing. I had to work while I was doing it. So that kind of made me fall in love with it because I had a process in place and I knew what I was doing. So every transition and every place I went was amazing. Because what I feel like we miss when we talk about operations, because it feels boring, it opens you up to the miracles of your business or the growth in your business because you've taken all the having to reinvent the wheel every time off the plate, right?
Yeah.
And so like when you and I talk about things, hey, this didn't work. Okay, well, we have a system for it. Where did that fall down?
That's
Okay,
right.
let's add this into the system, right? And see if it works better. And it does work better, right?
Yeah.
So it's a beautiful process for lack of a better word, right?
Yeah.
So
Well, two things. One is I love, and I can speak as a testament to this, when things don't go right, you are never one to blame anyone. And I love that because it really is not the person. Like, we have amazing people on our team, and I know other businesses do as well. It's the process, it's the system. And I can say this as a CEO, it's actually helped me step into the visionary role that I belong in. So I don't need to think about, like, the process is there. And if it's followed, Ashley gets to stay in her visionary lane that I love to be in working with our clients. So can you talk to our audience today a little bit about why systems, processes, operations are so important, especially for, let's say, first-time business owners? Because I will be fully transparent. Nardi Media is celebrating our 10-year anniversary. We didn't have like operations to start because when I started, it was just me. I did all the finances. I did the invoicing. I did the client services. I did my scheduling. But now we have grown into this beautiful ecosystem where everyone has their specialized lane. Much of this is thanks to you. So I'm curious, like, talk to us, I guess, two things. One, about the evolution of what you've seen with Nardi since you've been with us, of how we've set up shop, but why are operations and processes and systems so important for any business?
So I'm going to start with why they're so important to any business. So I've heard it likened to a GPS, right? So
Mm.
you as a CEO are telling us this is where we're going. We're going to Livingston, Montana. Okay. So the operations piece of it is the roadmap. Where do we want to go? How do we want to get there, right? Do we want to go the southern route, the western route, whatever? And what do we want to see? And how are we going to grow along the path? And
Yeah.
that's where the operations comes in. That's the
Yep.
roadmap, right?
Yep.
You create the vision. That's your role as CEO. Operationally, I come behind you and go, okay, this is where we want to go. What route are we going to take? Let's get us there, right? And
Yeah.
that's where the processes are.
Yep.
So for you and what we have seen together is, you're the one woman show. Everybody comes to Ashley. So our role in working with you is, okay, it's not all about Ashley. It is Ashley's a visionary, the CEO. This is where we're taking the company. Okay, how are we going to get there? These are the things that we need in place to get there. These are the people that we need in place to support you in that visionary role. And I think that's the beauty of the back end operations piece, because you get to a point as a business owner, you can't do it all yourself, and you don't want to do it all yourself, right? You want to bring people alongside you that are good at what they do, but how do we find that? And how do we find the right place for them? So that's where the SOPs are important, right? But it's also a living, growing thing. So when we know better, we do better. And we always add that back into the operations piece. And it also allows you to do a little bit of pivoting, like, oh, I don't like the direction that we're going with this particular part of the business, but it doesn't have to blow everything up, right?
Yeah.
Okay, you want to go here, so let's create a different process for going here.
Yep.
So that's the beauty of us and our working together, and a COO working with the CEO is to create that beautiful roadmap of where we're going.
Yeah. And I love that collaboration that we have, because systems and processes are not my superpower. I now love them thanks to you. And I'm like, oh, yep, we got a process for that. And Shannon's always like, we got a process for that. But my superpower really is connecting with the media, connecting with our clients, setting the vision for the company of where we're going and how we're going to get there. And you listen to that vision and come in and say, all right, well, let's get a process for this. So let me actually back up, because I think the CEO vision is so important. Can you talk to me about why having a vision is so important? Because I'm sure that there are CEOs that are just like, I mean, look, oftentimes CEO, you're building the plane while you're flying it, as you saw when you came into my company. But without a clear vision, it's really hard. So talk to us about the importance of having a vision. And then for anyone listening today, it's like, oh my gosh, I need to figure out my vision. How can they figure that out and get there?
So there are a lot of great books about creating visions for your company. You and I worked on that together. So that's something that I do with CEOs, is helping them create their vision.
Yeah.
But the importance of it is, you're getting in a car and driving to Maine, right? You guys just went to Maine, right?
Yeah.
Well, you don't just drive to Maine, right?
No.
You drove to a specific place in Maine. And so you had that vision. This is what I want to see when I get to Maine. Okay, now we got to put that in the GPS. Now we know where we're going.
Yep.
So that is the importance of having a vision. And you can't do anything without it, because then you're just treading water and you're trying all these different things and they're not working.
Yep.
If you don't have that vision.
Yep.
And that's what we need from the CEO, is that vision. This is where I want to take the company. And the next piece of it is getting your team on board. Like, okay, this is where we're taking the company. This is why. And then they can get excited about it and get excited about systems, because they're not, except for to me, they're not exciting to most people. Right. But if they can see the vision, and then they can see why we have these processes in place, and then when they get into the system and they realize, oh, I'm not going to get in trouble, we're going to go back to the system and change the system. Then we know we've got a great process, right?
Yeah, I love that. And just watching our team evolve and have buy-in to that, like, it doesn't happen overnight. I mean, change can be uncomfortable and frustrating, but I've seen there's people adapting, and I love that. Another question that just you made me think of is, at what point does a CEO or business owner, like, how do you know you need some operations support? I mean, I'm always of the belief that like you need to hire people that could do the job that you can't do. Cause like, I don't know how, my husband's a CFO, you're the COO, like you hire people who are geniuses in their own lanes. But at what point does a business owner, or should a business owner start considering like, you know what, I might need to hire somebody for operations?
So anybody that does not, like, that's not their gift, right? They are gifted in their specific lane. Like you are gifted in PR, right?
Yes.
And you don't have the business background, which
Right.
is most CEOs, right? They
Yeah.
come into it with a great idea, with a brilliant vision, but they have no idea how to run a business.
That's right.
And so you get into it and you're like, and there's a lot of terms like KPI and OKRs and these things, right? You've never heard of those before. And then you look at it and you go, oh crap, this is how I make my business run. This is how I know if it's working or not working, right?
Yeah.
And so if those are the kinds of things that you don't know, you definitely need a COO to come in, or a fractional operations person, or somebody that, to your point, knows that industry, loves it, right? Like,
Yeah.
I love it. I geek out on it. I'm like,
Yes.
ooh, how do we make this better?
Yes. And I've seen you do this so many times. Ooh, which I love. Like Notion and and that's like, and that's how I feel about PR. And I think it's so important for people to have that, ooh, like getting excited about this kind of stuff. Because that excites me. When you get excited, I'm like, okay, yay, something's obviously working. I don't know what it is yet, but Shannon's got it figured out.
Right.
And I think that's what makes it fun too. So I'm curious for you, like as you've worked with us, like just like doing some reflection, how have you seen Nardi Media change, grow, develop over the past couple of years that you've worked with us?
So, I mean, we had all of these separate places where we housed things, right? We had all these different people doing all of these different things.
Yeah.
And now we have a hub where the entire company lives, where anybody that has any questions, that's where they can go first, right?
Yep.
And we have a process for, this is how we onboard a client. This is how we onboard the new team member.
That's right.
So there's no going back and forth constantly on email. How do we do this? And what was that email that went there? Right? We have a place for everything. And if we don't, we find it.
That's right.
And our team has grown. Profit margins have grown. We are now tracking all of the numbers and all the things inside the business that make you smile like that. Like, oh, okay, this is actually working. This is,
and I get to stay in my lane.
That's right. That's right. And you get to pass it off and say, hey, this went wrong, Shannon. How do we fix it? Right.
Yep.
And it's not a people problem. We're going to look at the process first.
That's right.
And I think that makes the team feel empowered as well. Like, hey, I saw this, kind of didn't go well. Okay, well, let's look at a different process for it, right? So then they have buy-in too, as far as the processes go, because they see things on their end that they don't necessarily need to bring to you that you can't deal with, but I can.
Yeah, that's right. I just thought of something else too. We talk a lot about the role of AI in everything we do now. And I'm wondering what role you're seeing AI play in terms of operations, systems, and processes. Is it beneficial? Are we still figuring it out? I'd love to hear your expertise on that.
Yes, it's wildly beneficial because it takes my brain, right? It takes all the stuff that I dump into it, and then it makes it very streamlined and organized. And it's like, hey, I need to get this organized for this particular backend system. Like we use Notion, right?
Yeah.
Hey, create a Notion page for me based on this information that I give you. So instead of taking me a couple of hours to do, right, it takes it, 30 seconds?
That's right. Yeah. And so it's like, here, suggested. Right. Yeah.
Right. So it's made that very much more efficient, which is what operations is about, right? It's about efficiency. How are we making things more efficient? And now that we've been working together for so long, we're actually into those nuances. How do we make these? We've got the systems in place. Now we're just tweaking them, making them a little bit more efficient, right?
Yep. What are some tools? I mean, we talked AI, but are there, I have a feeling I know what you're going to say, some tools and support that business owners can get to help support their systems and processes, tools that you love geeking out with?
So I love CRMs, and I'm amazed at how many clients I've had that are like, yeah, I probably should get one of those. And really knowing how to use it and how to make it work for your business, because that is, at the end of the day, if you want to sell your business, if you want to give it to your family, that's your business, right?
That's your
It's your
business.
CRM. And I think making sure that that is in place is your first and foremost thing, especially if you're a startup, like you mentioned in the beginning. But the other thing is having a systems hub, and we use Notion, and that's my favorite just because it's pretty. I like it. But this is where, and AI is used in Notion as well, because you can use it like a Google search for your business, right? So if there's something that I need to know about Ashley, I can go into Notion and search it, and it finds it for me. And every process that we have lives there. So if it's like, oh, well, how are we onboarding clients? Oh, well, it's a client onboarding form right here.
Yeah, I love
it's all
that.
in place.
Yeah, Notion's been so great. That's been such an amazing discovery for us. And I know that you're in it every day. And that's the beauty is everything about Nardi Media. It's like we have access to it in one single space, which I am so profoundly grateful for. There's a visionary, and I think a lot of entrepreneurs can relate to this. We're kind of like everywhere. Our hands are everywhere. And so just having somebody like you catch it, put it all in one place has been so beneficial to help us run, streamline, and just be the best that we can be. So I'm so grateful for that. So grateful for you. So Shannon, any advice, before we close today, what would you offer a business owner of where they could get started on operations if they're not sure where to start? I didn't think of this probably until like year 5 or 6 of my business. But don't be like me. I think it's never too late or too early to start, but let's walk away with an action item for folks today that we can give them.
So one of my favorite books is Buy Back Your Time by Dan Martell.
Yes.
And he really gives you a good glimpse of what your life can look like with operations, and how important it is to not do it all yourself, but to figure out that back end so that you're not burned out, right?
That's right.
Because it's really easy to do. And then, so I would say that, and then ChatGPT, like, hey, this is my business. Give me the top 5 tips that I need to do right now to organize my business.
I love that.
It'll come up with something great, and then you can just take it from there. And then obviously hire somebody, and it doesn't have to be full time. And that's the thing that I think a lot of small business owners are like, I can't afford a COO. No, you probably can't, but you can afford fractional operations help, right? And because my brain works that way, it just makes sense, right? And fractional COO is the same way. Their brain just works differently than the visionary brain, right?
That's right. So tell us, who do you love to work with, so people know how to find you and if they're the good fit for you.
So I really love creative agencies, right? Marketing, PR. Those are the ones that I resonate with, and I think because you guys are so creative, having that back end like office brain, right? It aligns very, very well. And you guys tend to be super enthusiastic about your vision, about what you do. That's not to say, I don't work with other firms, but the creative agencies are really exciting to me.
Yeah. And I smile because the creative, it's like, what do they say? Left brain, right brain, right? It's like you're the other half of the brain for us. So we can be our best selves in our writing process, in our relationships, in brainstorming and envisioning. And it's just been so amazing, Shannon, just have you as that other piece of my brain so I can stay in my zone of genius. And I'm so, so grateful for that. So for folks that want to learn more information about you, where can they go?
Yeah, so I am on LinkedIn, Shannon Whiteside, and I also have a website. It's igspartners.net. So you can find me there as well with just some information about, what I do and how I help people. But the first thing that I do when I work with clients, and this is what you and I did, is we sit down and I look at your vision. Like I had to create it, right? And then we sit down together and look at it. okay, what support do you need to get to that vision?
That's right. And I will say now we do it every year. We sit down and it's like a full day where we just go through 2025, 26 visioning. And I love, even for me as a business owner, I love that because I have validation of where I'm going. Even though it's like in my head, we get it out on paper and then we get buy-in from the rest of the team. We know, like, our clients get excited, and it's just, everyone is kind of on this journey with us together because it started with the vision. And I love that. So for folks listening in, like, please contact Shannon. She's been such a gift and asset to Nardi Media. And I'm just so grateful for you, Shannon, and look forward to many more years to come. So thank you. And thank you for this amazing LinkedIn Live today.
Yeah, thank you. Thanks for having me. Of course.
All right, everyone. Thank you so much for joining. Those who are watching, we love to hear from you. You can always leave a comment. If you're interested in learning more about Nardi Media services, please send me a message here on LinkedIn. You can also follow us on Instagram, Nardi_media. We'd love to hear from you. And thank you so much. I hope everyone has a great week. Shannon, thanks again.
Thanks.
Bye.